My life was a physical representation of my own, unedited brain, chaotic, overfull, and with a filing system that only I could understand. I'm a graphic novelist. I live in a cramped, rent-controlled apartment that is less a home and more a curated archive of my own past. Every surface is covered in books, old vinyl, vintage action figures, and stacks of art supplies. It's a mess. My mess. And I loved it. My sister, however, did not. She was the one who had escaped our family and become a high-powered, minimalist lawyer. In her world, if you couldn't put a label on it, you threw it out. And for my 30th birthday, she gave me the most passive-aggressive gift of all time. Him. His name was Alex. He was a professional organizer. He showed up at my door at 9 a.m. sharp, carrying a sleek, aluminum briefcase and wearing a simple, brutally expensive-looking gray sweater. He was tall, lean, and had the kind of calm, judgmental, quiet face that I instinctively hated. He looked like he'd been 3D printed in a minimalist design lab. "Ben," he asked, his voice as clean and unadorned as his outfit. "Yeah. Look, this is a huge mistake. My sister meant well, but I don't need this. I'm fine. She paid for a 50-hour block, non-refundable," he said, his eyes already scanning the mountain of books behind me. He wasn't asking for permission. He was stating a fact. He walked past me into my apartment. I watched him do a slow, 360-degree turn in my living room. He didn't wince. He didn't sigh. He just assessed. It was worse than an insult. "Okay," he said. "We'll start with the living room. We'll make 3 piles: keep, donate, and trash." "I don't have a trash pile," I said, crossing my arms. "I have a to-be-archived pile." "That's just a trash pile you're procrastinating on," he said, not even looking at me. He picked up a stack of old vinyl records. "Do you own a record player?" "No, but..." "Donate," he said, placing them by the door. "Hey, that's my dad's. That's the Kinks. Your dad's Kinks record can bring joy to someone who will actually listen to it. You're just using it as a coaster." He was right. There was a coffee ring on the sleeve. It was a war. For 3 days, he was a quiet, polite, minimalist tornado. He was ruthless. He was a machine. He'd hold up an old, broken toy. "Ben, we talked about this. What is the function of this object? It looks cool. It's broken. It's clutter. Clutter is just a physical manifestation of postponed decisions. It's time to decide." He'd drop it in the trash bag. I was losing. My apartment was getting emptier. And in a way that I hated to admit, it was getting easier to breathe. But I also felt raw, exposed, like he was skinning me layer by layer. On the 4th day, we got to my studio, my inner sanctum. This was where I kept the real stuff. The good stuff. He was fine with my art supplies, my drawing table. He was a professional, after all. He organized my pens. He labeled my ink bottles. Then he got to the closet, and he pulled out the box. It was just a dusty, cardboard banker's box. It was labeled MISC 90s. "Okay," he said, putting it on the floor between us. "Let's see what kind of nostalgia we're dealing with." I tensed up. "No, not that one." He stopped, his hand on the lid. "What do you mean, not that one?" "Ben, the whole point of this is to go through everything. No exceptions." "I mean, we don't open that one," I said, my voice a little tighter than I intended. "Everything else." "Not that." Alex just looked at me with his calm, patient, infuriatingly logical eyes. "What's in the box, Ben?" It's just junk. It's old electronics. It's stupid. Just leave it. It's not just junk, if you're protecting it like this. It's a roadblock. We have to deal with it." He opened the box. Inside was a mess of old, tangled cables, a cracked Walkman, a few Pogs, and an old, gray, original Nintendo controller. The one with the sticky B button. "See," Alex said, his voice softening just a little. He was in his gentle but firm mode. "It's e-waste. It has no value. It has no function. It's just old plastic, Ben. It's time to let it go." He reached in and picked up the controller. He held it up, dangling it by its cord. And I snapped. It wasn't a yell. It was a roar. "Put it down." He flinched, genuinely startled for the first time since I'd met him. I said, "Put it down." I snatched the controller from his hand, my fingers wrapping around the familiar, worn plastic. My whole body was shaking. I could feel the blood pounding in my ears. He stood up, his professional calm gone, replaced by a wary, alert look. "Ben, it's just a controller." "It is not just a controller," I yelled, my voice cracking. I could feel the hot, stupid tears welling up in my eyes, a wave of grief so sudden and so old it knocked the wind out of me. It's 1995. It's my older brother, okay? It's the blizzard. He was sick. He was supposed to be resting. But he snuck in here, and we played Contra on this thing for 12 hours straight. We beat the whole stupid game. And my hands, they were too small, so he showed me how to hold it. And I couldn't finish. It was the last good day. It was the last time I remembered him laughing, before he got too sick to even hold his head up. He was gone 6 months later. And this stupid, gray, non-functional piece of plastic was all I had left. I was standing in the middle of my half-empty studio, clutching a 30-year-old video game controller like it was a lifeline, sobbing in front of this complete, sterile stranger. I was pathetic. "I'm sorry," I whispered, my face burning with shame. I tried to hide the controller, to put it behind my back. "You're right. It's junk. I'm being stupid." I waited for him to say it's okay, to give me a pitying look, to tell me that clutter is an emotional weight. Alex didn't say any of that. He was completely still, his face pale. The organizer was gone. He was just a guy, and he looked shattered. He took a slow, deliberate step toward me. I tensed up, expecting him to try and take it again. He didn't. He reached out, slowly. He didn't go for the controller. He put his hand over mine, the one that was crushing the gray plastic to my chest. His hand was warm, and his grip was firm, grounding. "No," he said, his voice a low, rough whisper that I almost didn't recognize. "It's not junk." I looked up at him, confused, my vision blurry with tears. "It's not junk," he repeated. He was looking at my hand, at our hands, his thumb resting on my white-knuckled fist. "It's a foundational object. It's an anchor. It doesn't go in a box. It doesn't go in the trash." He finally looked up, and his eyes, his calm, gray, logical eyes, they were shining. He was crying too. "My dad," he whispered, his own voice cracking. He was a hoarder. A real one. Filth. Stacks to the ceiling. After he died, it took me 6 months to clear the house. I threw everything out. Everything. I just wanted it to be clean. He was still holding my hand. I found his old watch. A cheap, gold-plated Timex. It was broken. It was worthless. And I threw it out, with all the other trash. And now I'd give anything, to have that stupid, broken piece of junk back. Because it was his. He was right there with me. In the mess. He wasn't the minimalist. He was just a guy who had thrown away his own controller. "You're not stupid," he whispered, his grip on my hand tightening. You're the one who held on. I don't know who moved first. It didn't matter. It was a mutual collapse. I was still clutching the controller, and he was still holding my hand, and the next thing I knew, I was leaning in, and he was meeting me. It was the messiest, most illogical, most necessary kiss of my entire life. It was clumsy, and it was desperate, and it tasted of salt and dust and a decade of unprocessed grief. His lips were soft, and he was shaking just as much as I was. It wasn't a kiss of passion. It was a kiss of recognition. It was two profoundly lonely, broken people holding on to the same stupid piece of junk just to keep from floating away.